Friedrichshafen on Lake Constance. A century ago, the first ever Zeppelin made its maiden flight from here. The airships are still a popular form of advertising today. The city has 60,000 residents and identifies itself strongly with the inventor of the airship, Bernard Zeppelin. Today, the company is called Zeppelin Systems, but it no longer produces airships. It builds components for chemical plants. A customer from Thailand has just bought this silo.
When you see it for real after weeks and months of planning, you can imagine it at the plant. I don't see it standing here, I see it standing at the factory and can already feel the pellets running through there.
One of these silos costs 50,000 euros. Most of the customers come from China, Saudi Arabia and Russia. They're from companies that make plastics and recycle them. The order books at Zeppelin Systems are full. Surprising, given that more and more people here in Germany are talking about a crisis.
We're all used to that in Germany. Other countries see things differently. In the US, you'll see a kind of optimism that is perhaps exaggerated. There's no realistic basis to it. And here, we're sometimes pessimistic, but without a realistic basis to that.
70% of the production plant components end up abroad. For the engineers here, those components include pipes, tanks and silos. Massive systems, sometimes several hundred meters long. By the end of the year, another 20 systems will leave the factory here, at a value of around 100 million euros. In this test plant, plastic pellets are being transported. But if they move too slowly, they could block the pipes. If they're transported too quickly, they could melt or be damaged.
Then they form threads like this. We call it angel's hair. These threads cause production problems in the processing. That results in an inferior end product, and we want to avoid that.
Back at the production hall, many workers are on summer holidays. That leaves the rest of the workforce doing overtime. There's little sign of an economic crisis here, even though the last Zeppelin downturn wasn't that long ago. We asked the workers if they worried about a crisis.
Let's put it this way. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to worry about it.
It helps not to hide. We have to get on with it. What else can you do? We'll see how the economy goes. We can only do that by holding our heads up and not burying them in the sand.
The aim is to be prepared for the future, and Zeppelin Systems specialise in innovative environmental technology, building plants for recycling rubber tyres, for example. They want to enable tyre makers to extract raw carbon black from old tyres for the manufacture of new ones.
A ton of carbon black costs more than 1,000 euros. If tyre manufacturers use 10 to 20 tons an hour, you can imagine the cost. If we find a way of producing carbon black from the waste, that would be a huge success.
The management estimates such a breakthrough could bring in more than 50 million euros in sales. Their only concern is that the euro may let them down.
It would be critical if the euro collapsed. A replacement Deutschmark would probably appreciate in value, but that would raise the cost of our products abroad. And we'd see an international slump because of the turbulent currency.
But for now, the mood here is generally optimistic. They have faith in a saying that the inventor of the Zeppelin used a century ago. All you have to do is believe in it, and it'll work.